Christine from Pack Hacker. In this video, we're taking a look at the Tropicfeel Shell ProLite, which I've been testing for 2 weeks. Let's jump in. So this recycled nylon bag, it's a ripstop nylon all around this, and it can actually grow. It's a 20-liter bag, but it can expand to 40 liters, and then you can get even more space with some add-on features if you purchase them. I'll show you that in a little bit. But basically, you've got this bluish colorway at this point, and then there's like a greenish colorway. There's no names for either one of them, so I can't tell you that. But I do want to point out, I like the blues, like all of that. But, and I'm not even sure if you can see with the lights, but like these lighter colorways, like I have a red pouch in here and a red case on my AirPods, and you can kind of see them through in person without all these bright lights shining on. So that's just something to keep in mind. It's obviously not see-through, but it is just a little bit like shadows will show kind of a thing. Looking around the bag, we have a carry handle, but it's very, very thin. It's really just good for hanging it up on a hook, and that's it. It's not comfortable at all. Even when I'm just pulling it out of my car, I use the shoulder straps, but it does really work well for, you know, putting it on a hook. We've got YKK zippers, and they all have cords running through them to make them easier to grab, which is really great. And then there's Woojin hardware, like this buckle, and then the adjusters. It all works really well, as you'd expect from Woojin. Then there are a lot of bungee cords, as you can see, running around the bag. And these, like, this is how you expand the bag. Is you unbungee it, and then you can expand it, and you see all the extra space you get. And then on this side, you unhook it and it expands. And then that reveals a really fun design feature, I thought. Like, instead of like buying patches wherever you go, like I know a lot of people like keeping track of their trips that way, you can just write it down with a Sharpie. I mean, at least for 8 trips, and then you run out of space. But it's just kind of a fun little design feature. You can kind of like DIY your own travel journal on your bag. Then the only other thing to talk about is you can add on things like this is a toiletry bag, and to do that you pull these open and it goes through the back straps, and then it would hook to this daisy chain, and that's how you get extra space. Unlike the carry handle, the harness system is actually quite robust and also fairly comfortable, depending. We've got this nicely padded back panel, and it's lined with breathable mesh. There's like these, sections of padding, and then there's air channels through it for breathability. That's really awesome. The shoulder straps are like curved, and then they're lined with like micro mesh on the back. Plus there are load lifters on top, which I really appreciated because it lifts the bag up some. There is a sternum strap that you can move along these, daisy chain of attachment points to find the right spot, or you can take it off, which is great. However, you cannot take off the hip belt, and it's just these like little 2 padded sections and this thin strap. And depending on your height, it might not hit you right. And also, when you only have 20 liters worth of gear in here, I didn't really feel the need for it. And so basically, most of the time, it just flops around for me. Now, what doesn't flop around is there are built-in strap keepers so on all of the straps, so you can sort of tame some of that, but I still wish you could have removed these a little bit because I didn't really need it unless it was fully packed. As you can see, this is definitely a more casual looking bag. It's great for outdoor adventures, hiking, camping, stuff like that. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable carrying it in a very fancy hotel, but it really doesn't matter. It looks best, I think, when it is fully packed out. We have it somewhat compressed here, and as long as you manage to tuck in the material when you have it compressed, it doesn't look as bad, and it doesn't look so saggy either. It's just how you fill it. When it's really full, it looks better. As for comfort, It feels a little long on me. I have sort of a shorter torso, and it takes a lot of adjustment to get this hip belt to be, it's still, I feel like, not as high as I would want it for any support, and I don't feel like it's actually providing any support. But without it, I feel like the backpack is completely comfortable. It's just, I don't feel like that is actually giving you any extra support if you felt you needed it. Even without all of the extra accessories that you can add on, like that toiletry bag I showed you, there's also like a front cube you could get, or a wardrobe that goes inside. Even without that, there are a lot of different places to store your gear on this bag. So we're gonna start with this top flap, where it's just a big quick access pocket that spans this whole flap. And so it's just really open. I just toss things in it. It's very convenient to reach. It works really well. And it's just, if you do have a lot of things in there, it can, and not so much in the main compartment, it can sort of cave things in a little bit, but it's not too bad. On the bottom here, so there's this flip up flap where, you know, you connect the accessories, and then that tucks in with magnets. It holds it in place. But then on the bottom, we have this snap, and you undo it, and then you can pull out, there is a shoe pouch. Oops, sorry, I was off camera there. And so you stick your shoes in, and there's like mesh on the side and whatnot, and then there's bungees that you can tighten or loosen to hold them on, and then they sort of go on these Hypalon loops, and then you can carry some shoes, and they can still be breathable and not get the rest of your gear dirty inside your bag. So that's kind of nice. If I loosened the bungee down here, you could definitely get more room for larger shoes. There is more material here to go. I just had it all nice and cinched to hold those. Flipping around to the back, there is a small little hidden pocket here where you can put, like, it goes all the way down, but you can put a passport, some extra cash. It's definitely hidden because it's on the back panel, so it'll be against your body. So it's a little more secure. And then on the other side, we have the laptop compartment for up to a 16-inch device. I've got a 3D printed 16-inch MacBook Pro in here. And so my 13-inch one that I usually use, it had tons of space to wiggle around a lot, and there isn't a false bottom here. So if you have a smaller device, you may want to, instead of just throwing it in there, you might want to use a laptop case just for some additional protection. Then we do have two side pockets, and they're different materials. So the one over here is just the nylon that everything else is, and you can bungee it open to put a larger bottle in, and then cinch it shut with the bungee, and it holds it in place, which is nice. And then the one on this side is all stretchy mesh, and you can loosen the bungee there, and you can slide it down all the way past the bungee, and then again tighten the bungee up to hold it in place. Either one works well, and I had no problem just using them interchangeably. I really like that you can see there's additional fabric here, but it's being held in place by the bungee, so it doesn't matter quite as much that it's bigger than my bottle is. If you are finding this video helpful, go ahead and click like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you content like this to help you travel smarter. Now it's on to the main compartment, and we have two different ways you can get in there. So the first way is through the buckle on the front, and it opens to reveal a cinch top. So if you wanted to sort of toss things in from the top there, this is just the underside of that lid pocket. You could do that. I preferred to use the zipper just because I found it more easy to use for myself. But you know, there's a time and a place. Sometimes that works out better for you. Now, the main compartment zipper opens this completely clamshell. Oh, I'm gonna make a big mess if I do it like that, sorry. So we'll do that. Opens it completely clamshell, so you can see, so for easy packing or whatnot. And then you can see like all of this extra material is the excess, you know, that's what that's where you get the extra 20 liters if you expanded it, is all this extra material. But as you can see, I've got room for, even compressed, I've got room for quite a bit. I've got 2 large packing cubes here, a tech kit. There's 3 stretchy mesh pockets along the back. I use them for glasses case, travel mouse, stuff like that. But the nice thing is they kind of lay flat if you don't need it. But what I do want to point out is, and I'm going to zip this back up to the top. There we go. So a lot of times I was just filling this from the top. I would just undo the zipper, just part way like that, throw some things in. Now you can see, you can easily, if you don't pay attention, just toss something and it goes through that cinch cord and it basically will go out of the bag. See my hand? So you have to be careful to push all that material out of the way in order to get to the bottom of the bag and put your thing in, or you will just be throwing it out of the bag. So, and I couldn't figure out how to cinch that any tighter. Like, that is as tight as it goes. The bungee literally doesn't go any further. So that is something to keep in mind. However, see, you can have quite a bit of space in this bag. If you undo these side bungees and undo this, then now you have a lot more space to fill, and that would be where like the Tropicfeel wardrobe would come in handy. It would just slide in there, so you could have a lot of space to use if you were taking this on a trip and you wanted to take more than the packing cubes that I had already gotten out there. I do have to point out, so these YKK zippers are reverse coil, but they don't have any AquaGuard coating or anything. So if you did want additional weather resistance, Tropicfeel sells a rainfly, so you could get that as well, and that's another add-on. And then, you know, if you were going out backcountry camping or whatnot, or going to be in the rain, you would be able to protect it more. It just goes over the whole thing. So unlike some of the other Tropicfeel bags we've tested, I really feel like this one does a pretty good job of being useful on its own without the add-ons. If you like the add-ons and you want all of that, I definitely think they could come in handy and they'd be useful. But I feel like this bag does a pretty good job of just working on its own, which is great. I really wish you could take off that hip belt, or that you could adjust it some way, because even with the load lifters as high as they can go, some of us shorter people, it hits wrong. Taller users had no issue, but you know, not everybody's that tall. So if you like the ability to, have modular features and you want sort of a rugged looking bag, it might be right for you. So there you have it, the Tropicfeel Shell ProLite. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.